Thomas Homebrew, coming at you with a beer review. I've been wanting to get into my seasonal beers and find a pumpkin beer that I actually haven't reviewed before. Found one that's been around actually for a little while. Here it is. It's the Punkuccino Coffee Pumpkin Ale from Elysian Brewing out of Seattle, Washington. This would be you could categorize this all kinds of ways. Just call it a pumpkin beer, vegetable beer category. You could even call it a coffee beer if you really wanted to. It's 6% ABV this year. It's the coffee from this comes from Portland, Oregon. That's right, my hometown, and it's Stumptown Coffee's Coffee Toddy. This was made with pale churro, brown, biscuit, C77, crystal chocolate, and kiln coffee malts. That's quite a mouthful there. And in terms of hops, they just used bittering hops. They used Northern Brewer. They added pumpkin to the mash, to the kettle, and to the fermenter. So it should have some good pumpkin flavor. And of course, then they added cinnamon and nutmeg for flavorings for the season. I'm looking forward to trying this one. I tell you what, I already got that like coffee aroma right off the top. And I do like cappuccinos. So this is something I should truly enjoy. It's almost completely opaque. I mean, I just get the lightest hints of color off the edges, but it's pretty much just dark as can be. I'd say really dark brown, chestnut brown. It's got a thin head on there, but it's kind of a khaki colored head. Let's get the nose. Oh, it smells good. Oh, let me tell you that. It smells really good. You get the light cinnamon and nutmeg, a little more cinnamon than the nutmeg on there, but immediately you got that pumpkin, and it was more like a very rich with the coffee. It's like, how would I describe this? A creamy cappuccino? No, like a kind of a pumpkin latte. That'd be a really good description. Oh, that's nice. It just comes across as having like maybe a hint of some dark molasses and having like it comes across as creamy right on the nose. So I don't think there's a lot more complexity than that. We're going to just dive in. Cheers. Oh, this needs to warm up some, but that's just wonderful. I'm going to start warming it right now to see how this changes as we go. But you definitely get the pumpkin, but you get that coffee, man, and it's a really nice coffee. It's kind of rich, but it's well blended. So I think that description of like a latte or cappuccino is really good because those are both like, you know, very smooth flavors when it comes to coffee. Somehow though the body just tastes a little thinner than I was expecting. I guess that that whole aroma of like a cappuccino, like a creaminess, you kind of almost expect it to be a little creamier or a little more dense, I should say. But I'm also equally impressed with the balance that they did in terms of that nutmeg and cinnamon. You know both of those spices are in there, but they're just there to lend a little hand with accent and tell you it's that kind of a season, it's the fall season, but they're not dominant in any way. All right, I've taken a little time with this. It's a good beer. It's a really good beer, in fact. I have to admit, though, when it comes to pumpkin ales, I really like the Imperials because that brings in the sweetness, it brings in a bigger body. I do get a bit spoiled there. But this is very tasty. I think it's well crafted, and at 6%, it's really got a lot going for it. You know, I'm not going to rate this as a coffee beer or a vegetable beer. It's a pumpkin beer, right? I mean, that might not be an official category, but that's how I rate it in terms of style. And I think this is a very good one. I'm going to give this, in terms of pumpkin ales, a 93. And for a non-imperial pumpkin ale, that's a really good score. Overall, that's tough for me, actually. Christian would score this so much higher. He told me I should review this. He's had it many times. He loves it. I think it's just unique. I'm going to give it points for being unique. I would probably put it in the upper 80s, but I think the uniqueness is what kind of tides me over on this one a little bit. And it's a great seasonal beer. I'm going with a 90 on this one. Here it is again. This is what you're looking for. It's the Punkuccino Coffee Pumpkin Ale. This is from Elysian Brewing. I would say check it out. It's worth checking out. This is Kevin at Clement's Homebrew saying life's too short to drink cheap beer, and I'll see you in the next beer review.